today we are going to start thorax anatomy series. So here first we are going to start with thorax. So this is the anatomy chapter from B.D. Chaurasia. So the first chapter, that is introduction to thorax. So mainly this is like a basic chapter. So in the thorax you have the upper, it's nothing but it's forming the upper part of the trunk of the body, and the thoracic viscera along with the abdominal viscera, because everyone thinks in thorax there is only thorax viscera, means like lungs, all those parts of thorax, but even the abdominal viscera is also included in the thorax. And the principal organs like heart and lungs are also inside the thoracic cage, which are separated from abdomen mainly by means of a muscular structure, that is diaphragm. So now let us understand the skeleton of thorax by this diagram. So the skeleton of thorax, mainly it is also called as osteocartilaginous elastic cage, because osseous means bones and the cartilage is nothing but it's elastic tissue. So because of this only our thorax is elastic. So this elastic nature is mainly required for our lungs during recoil, during respiration, thoracic respiration. So now let us see the bones which are present here. So anteriorly, of course, we have sternum. This is a manubrium part of the sternum, right? This is the body of the sternum, and this is the scaphoid process of the sternum, right? So this is a sternum, and this is a first strip which is attached to the side of the sternum, you can see, and like this we can count all the 12 ribs. So there are 12 ribs total. The posteriorly we have 12 vertebra, that is thoracic vertebra. So here you can see this is posterior, this is actually thoracic vertebra. So you can remember, like, we have 12 thoracic vertebra and also we have 12 ribs. So that's very easy to remember. 12 ribs, 12 thoracic vertebra and one sternum in the anterior side, right? So in between we also have the intervertebral disc. Of course, in the posterior side between this thoracic vertebra we'll also have the intervertebral disc. And sides we have 12 ribs plus cartilage. Of course, we have ribs and also cartilages included in this. So we know the first 7 ribs are called true ribs. Why they are called true ribs? Because they are directly attached to the sternum in front and also to the vertebra back. But whereas it posteriorly articulates with the vertebra and anteriorly with the sternum, of course by means of a cartilage. With the help of a cartilage, you can see this are called as costal cartilages, because actually the ribs are called costal because they are located in thoracic region. So this cartilage is also called as costal cartilage. But the 8, 9 and 10 ribs, 8, 9 and 10, you can count from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these are all the true ribs, because you can see they are directly attached. But you can see the 8, 9, 10, these ribs are not directly attached to our, anteriorly to the sternum and also posteriorly to the vertebra. So they join just to the next higher cartilage. So for example, this is a cartilage. So here you can see this cartilage, they just join to that cartilage. Yeah, here you can appreciate that thing very nicely. So you can see this is a cartilage of for example, 8th one. So you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But you can see from 8th one it's joining the above cartilage, but it's not directly joining to the sternum, and also so you can see it's not a direct connection. So these are of course called as our vertebrochondral ribs, or also they are like false ribs, not the true ribs. And 7, 8, 9, 10 ribs are forming a costal margin. So you can see this is a costal margin. Mainly 7, 8 and 9, 10 ribs form the costal margin. And the anterior ends of 11 and 12, of course the 11 and 12 are free ribs. Like this, they are free ribs. They only just attached to the posterior vertebral column, but anteriorly they are not attached to the sternum. So the 11th and 12th are called as free ribs or floating ribs. And remember that false ribs are not like 8, 9, 10 false ribs are not articulating with the sternum. That's what means, directly they are not articulating. By means of the upper cartilages they are articulating, but the false that is the floating ribs are not at all articulating with the sternum anteriorly. So this is like a just common basic one everyone knows. Now we'll see about different joints, like for example costovertebral. So in the name itself you can see costovertebral means by means the ribs is a costal, right? So ribs attaching to the vertebra is called, this joint between the vertebral column and the rib, that is called as costovertebral joint. And next we have costotransverse joint. Costotransverse means between the rib and the, we have in the vertebra we have thoracic process of, right? So through that thoracic process, if the rib is attaching, that is called costotransverse. And also we have manubrosternal, that is nothing but the manubrum of the sternum attaching to the body. This is called as manubrosternal joint, or also called as sternal angle, from which we start counting of ribs, right? Because sternal angle is the where the second rib is present, right? So these are like basics. So here you can see the costovertebral, the costotransverse, the manubriosternal, and also chondrosternal. Chondrosternal is nothing but by means of cartilage. These are all chondrosternal because by means of cartilage they are attaching to the sternum, right? So this is a chondrosternal. So all these joints together are useful for the thoracic cage movement, especially during breathing. So for the breathing process, mainly these all joints articulate together, means they meet together and they help in breathing. So from the root of the neck, the thorax is partly separated by suprapleural membrane, or also called as Simpson's fascia. So I will show you in the diagram what is suprapleural membrane and Simpson's fascia. So you can see this is a suprapleural membrane. Actually it's just like a covering. So for example, from the neck, now C7 is nothing but end of the neck, right? So from the neck, if you want to enter into the thoracic cavity, you have a sheet, a membranous sheet which is covering it. That is nothing but called as suprapleural membrane, also called as Simpson's fascia. And next, if we take out the transverse section of a thorax, so for example, this is a transverse section. Transverse means like this, right? We are seeing from the below. So if you want to see the thorax like this in the transverse section, especially in adults, it will be in the form of reniform, like in renal form. You can see like a kidney shape. So this is a human adult transverse section, and also oval thorax is seen in adults with ribs are obliquely placed in adults, whereas in infants you can see in the transverse section it's like somewhat circular shape and the ribs are horizontal in infants. And even the only abdominal respiration is seen in infants. Abdominal respiration means only by means of abdominal wall their respiration will be there. But whereas in adults we have both abdominal and thoracic respiration. Thoracic respiration is nothing but breathing in and breathing out, right? So this is seen both means in adults we can see both abdominal and thoracic respiration. So here you can see that's what I wrote. Adults have both abdominal thoracic respiration, that is thoracic respiration is nothing but inspiration and expiration by means of usage of thoracic wall. So in transverse section you see the thorax is reniform. In adults they have oval thorax with the ribs obliquely placed, and in infants we have circular ribs, circular transverse section of thorax, and the ribs are horizontal and the abdominal respiration is seen them. And quadrupeds means like babies when they are in a baby stage, like when they are crawling at that stage, they are greater diameter than the transverse, means anterior posterior diameter is greater. So this is a quadrupeds. You can see that anterior posterior diameter is greater when compared with the transverse process, means transverse diameter. So that is seen mainly quadrupeds. So this is all about some basics of our thorax. Now let us move into the superior aperture or inlet of thorax.